This video is over lesson 79, estimating areas, and it is for my 7th grade math class. So, to estimate the area of a figure on a grid, 1. Count the number of squares that are completely inside or almost completely inside the figure. So down here, if we take a look, so how many are completely in or almost completely in? So placing a mark inside of these as you count can help make sure that you don't count any twice or miss any. Using numbers as you mark can help you not to lose count. So if we go through right now, I'm looking at this one and it's just an estimate. So I might say 1, 2, 3. That one's kind of a little too close to half. So 4, that's obviously 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's mostly in. 11, 12, that's pretty close. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, that's more like half. That one's more about 3/4. I can't quite get on board with that one myself. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Yeah, that's about mostly in. 29. I'd say that's more about a half. That's a little under half, I'd say. That's pretty close, though. Make that guy my 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Yeah, that's just missing a little corner. So 35. Empty, empty, empty. No, not quite enough. 36, 37. I'd say that's a little closer to half myself, and not enough, and that's empty. So I have about 37 that are more or less about mostly inside of the figure. So 37 is my number there. Next, 2. Count the number of squares that are about half inside the figure. So placing a mark inside of these as you count can help make sure you don't count any twice or miss any. So a common mark for half squares is a dot. And you could come up with anything you want, really, but I'm going to go with a dot. And so I'm looking, that seems a little too low for half. It's close, though. I'd say that is about half. I'd say that's about half. That's about half. Looking across, yeah, I'd say that's about half. That's a little bit more than half, so we'll give it. I'd say that's about half, and that's a little under, but this might be a little over, that might be a little under, and they kind of look like they fit together. So I might go ahead and give that one. Here, that's looking a little, I don't know, like that. If we think of that as half, that's a little under. I'll say no to that one. And then I'd say that guy's about half. So, step 3. We add the full squares and the half squares. But what we need to remember here is the half squares, if we have 2 half squares, that'll only make 1 full square. If I've got 4 half squares, that'll only make that'll make 2 full squares. So basically what happens is if we take the number of half squares we have and cut that in half, then we'll know about how many full squares that makes. So the area then, down here, is going to be approximately, I have my 37 full squares, there we go, 37 full squares, plus, and now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 dots, so plus half of 8. Because if there are 8 dots, well, half of that is 4 full squares. So then this will be 37 plus 4, which is 41. And since I don't know what units we're using here, we'll say square units. And that's it. So remember, first step is to count how many squares are completely inside or almost completely inside, and it can be a good idea to put numbers in just so you don't lose count, because chances are there'll be a lot of them. Step 2 is to put dots in the ones that are about halfway, and so that's a judgment call. And then we put it together using this formula here. So since the half squares are only half big, we're going to take a half times that number for this. We're going to add the full with that, and that gives us our approximate area. So because some of this is a judgment call, there are going to be times where you might be off by a unit or two. So maybe some of you, had you done this on your own, you might have said that some of the ones I said were about fully in. You might have called those as a half. You might have said that's not quite enough. Okay, so there's going to be slightly different judgment calls, slightly different numbers, but they all should be in the same ballpark. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the heart of that lesson. And that's it.